Hello. Okay, watched this over Christmas. Kid friendly. And it's a pretty decent film, really. National Treasure. Got Nicolas Cage in it. And we picked this one. Well, actually, I kind of pushed towards this one because of the old all-seeing eye and all the Masonic and Illuminati confirmed stuff going on in here, right? So, Nicolas Cage is on a treasure hunt. And I'm not going to explain the film, but he's looking for physical treasure, right? That's supposedly been hidden away, because nobody should have that much wealth. All right. Now, that's not really what the filmmakers are trying to convey as the real treasure. The real treasure is the thing that he's got on his back here, which is independence. He's got the Declaration of Independence on his back here. So that's the real treasure, yeah? And of course, Nicolas Cage has got to steal it. He's got to steal back the independence, yeah? Because that's his roadmap to freedom, if you like. That's not how it works in the film, but that's the metaphorical type of story that is in this film. The real treasure, the real national treasure that Nicolas Cage has got to stop the English guys. The baddies happen to be English in this. Sean Bean and I don't know the other characters, but they're English, so the baddies are English, and he's got to protect independence. He's not got to allow independence to be lost to the English, yeah? I mean, and if you just watch it, superficially, you're going to be looking at a treasure hunt. But the real story, the real thing behind the story is this idea of independence, and it's referenced several times in the film. Anyway, regardless, I thought, well, the reason why I want to watch this, the Illuminati thing here, the all seeing eye, and I thought, well, with the old dollar bill and that, the February the 13th popping up, and also all these references to February the 14th, this sort of, I don't know, these two dates that sort of sit together quite interestingly. I thought, I'll watch this and see if there's anything, just keep my eyes open, see if there's any references in it. I thought it'd be interesting. And again, it's a good film to sit and watch with the kids. So, okay. I wasn't disappointed. Let's put it that way. So I just jumped right into it. During this film, okay, I mean, they do get the dollar bill out and it's flapped around a few times at the start. But what's interesting is that one of the clues on his treasure hunt and leads him to this place, if I can find it. Leads him to this place. Actually, it's not a very good picture of it because it's just the clock face. But this is Independence Hall, yeah? Independence Hall is on the $100 bill, right? So Independence Hall, they've got to get to Independence Hall at a certain time to see a shadow fall, so they can get their next clue, right? They're going to see where the shadow falls, and it will lead them to the next clue. Now, interestingly, the clock here is at 3:20. It's supposed to be 3:22. I think this is just as the shadow is going to fall, right? So we've got this 3:22 reference, right? But in the film, the actual clue is that they have to be at the clock at 2:22. Okay, that is 2:22. That same number that pops up. Let's just go to this. Yes, that same number that pops up in the chart here, 2:22. Yeah, in this column as a total. And I mean, if you don't know what this is, go back and see some of my other videos. But if you do know what this is, we've got the 222 popping up, which of course combines with the numbers of pi here, the 143, to complete a year. Yeah, so that number pops up in the actual film. So let's go back to this a minute. So the reason why this is at 3:22 is because of daylight savings. Okay, and so they're an hour on. Okay, it's explained in the film, right? Now, so we've got this jump of an hour. We've got another reference to daylight savings, and we've got 2:22 and 3:22. Well, we all know what the 3:22 is, and now I've just, for those of you that don't know what 2:22 is what I just showed you in the table. It balances 143, the number of pi, with, and the reason why 143, just go back to the table very, very quickly again. The reason why 143 is so important, these numbers of pi here that are just switched around, is because there's 55 and 88 added together, yeah? References back to, this is all to do with balance, okay? If you're not familiar with this. And of course, you will have seen those numbers in another film called Back to the Future. So, anyway, you're saying to me right now, well, why are you telling me this, Dan? And the reason why is because they use the $100 bill as their reference, and I just happened to say to my wife, "Is that the real time on the dollar bill?" Not the dollar bill, the $100 bill. Sorry, they use the $100 bill as their reference, right? And so I said to my wife, do you think that's the real time that's on the $100 bill? I said, I'm gonna look that up, and of course, it's not. It's not the real time that's on the $100 bill. And I said, well, I wonder what the point of changing that time to 2:22. What's the point of doing that? What's the point of referencing the switch from daylight savings there? I mean, everything has a point to it, And so anyway, needless to say, I went and looked, and she went and looked it up and said, well, it's 4:10. And I looked on the $100 bill, and I'm like, no, I'm seeing 10:30. And so she's telling me it's 4:10, and I'm saying 10:30, and all of a sudden I'm saying, well, this is starting to get really interesting now, because in the film, on the other side of the $100 bill is Benjamin Franklin, and in the film, Nicolas Cage's character is Benjamin Franklin Gates. So now it's starting to really, look like a half decent reference here. We've got 3 different times for this clock now. We've got, and I've got a little bit better. Let's see if I got a bit better picture here. Hang on a minute. What's this? Oh no. Oh, we'll get to that in a minute, and we'll get to that, and we'll get to this. And where the heck is? I had it up here somewhere. Here we are. So here's a little bit better picture. So you can see the 10:30, and I think this is on the newer version of the $100. I keep wanting to say $1. This is Independence Hall, which is, again, has the clock tower. The clock tower's, insanely important to this. And here we go. Let's look at this one. And here we've got the, and in fact, this actually looks like the other way around. But anyway, this is supposed to be 4:10. Although this hand happens to look a little bit longer on this version of it, but I don't think it's supposed to be. I want to see if there was a better version of it. Anyway, that's supposed to be the 4:10 version. And I have had a look at some of these. This is probably no, it's the 10:30 again. Anyway, you have to just take my word for it. There we go. It's not a very good. I don't want to double click it. But anyway, we've got 3 different numbers, and I'm going to go to those numbers now, so you can have a look. But Mr. Franklin here, that's referenced. So it's referenced he's referenced in the film, like double, with Nicolas Cage's character. And this clock tower with 4:10 on it, right? Where else have we seen a clock tower with a 10 and a 4 on it? Hold it, hold it, hold it. Come on. I just was on it. Come on, where is that? Where else have we seen that clock with a 4 and a 10 on it? Except this is 4 minutes past 10 instead of 10 minutes past 4. Right here. Now I'm starting to think, wow, this is really interesting now with this clock tower in Back to the Future. So this starts getting very, very interesting. If you remember in Back to the Future, Doc also has a picture on his wall of Mr. Franklin. Benjamin Franklin is on the wall, and in this scene where they're talking about finding 1.21 gigawatts, and of course there's a reference to lightning and the rest of it here, but you know, this is also we're just referencing back to Franklin again in this film. You know, they're all over him here, and of course it's probably a reference to lightning. But I thought it was also interesting. We've got this character here. Don't forget, before I even get, you know, we've got. I think this is Newton, right? And so Newton, just referencing back to a version of a 1 bill. This is a £1 bill right here. Okay, and we've got Newton on it. Okay, now if you're English, you'll remember these went back out of fashion in I think it said 88 on here, so I remember using these as a kid, and I remember seeing a lot of them. But if you're a youngster, you won't probably even know what one of these is. But yeah, the £1. So we've got the £1. You know, we've got another nice reference to the 1 again. You know, interesting. And of course we've got old Pi Man here as well. Yeah, Einstein, and the reference to his birthday, Pi. And of course we've got several interesting references that are sort of harked back up in the film. You know, the lightning, the this might be a heavy reference all the way through the film. We've got the atomic kind of reference, and we've got sort of fake enlightenment or enlightenment, or I don't know how you want to look at that with the light bulb. But anyway, I'm waffling again, and I don't really want to waffle. I've got a lot to get through on this still. So we've got those three numbers, sorry, that are on the $100 bill, and this also ties back in with. Let me see if I can find it here. Was it this one? No. I want to show that in a minute. It ties back in with the dollar bill. Simply, I'm just going to remind you of this that was in that other video that I did. Artist Gilbert Stuart, right? When he made this portrait, you know, this unfinished portrait, and he painted a load more portraits from this. 130 copies apparently, which he sold for $100 each, right? And so he called it his $100 bill. It's just a very interesting little reference back to the dollar bill now. Anyway, I just thought I'd put that in there. Now, I want to just show you just a couple of. Let me see. So here we are. Let's see if we can get a picture of the actual tower itself. Not a very good picture of the tower, but we've got this octagonal type tower here, right? Independence Hall, right? Now, it kind of reminded me again. This, I don't know what with the octagonal, but look here at the Hoover Dam, we've got the twin towers again. One set of twin towers, another set of twin towers on the other side, mirrored. Now, now that ties quite nicely back to the 2001 event, you know, with the twin towers. But and I like to call these the Daleks because they look like Daleks, you know, and we've got the reference to Doctor Who. But let's look at this other side of these, yeah, and we've got the clock face. So these are a set of clock towers again. We're back to the clock tower again. Yeah, and we've got an hour difference between Arizona and Nevada. Interesting. Not all year long, because I think Arizona did away with daylight savings. But for part of the year, there's an hour separation there. Again, very, very interesting. Pull me up if I'm getting something wrong in the comments, by the way. So we've got that hour reference of difference with daylight savings between the two clock faces. We've got kind of a similar little top on there. I think that's kind of similar. It might be reaching just a little bit there with the. I probably should have got a better picture up of that, but I'm not going to bother. With this tower here. So we've got the clock tower. We've got the clock tower in Back to the Future. We've got the clock towers at the Hoover Dam. The clock tower, save the clock tower, is just it's starting to sound a bit insane what I'm talking about. But anyway, so let's think about this now before I go on. What do I want to go to? Let me go down now to right. So I got those numbers right. So we got the 410, which is 10:04 on Back to the Future clock, and we've also got the 10:30. Okay. Now and the other number that we had in there was the 322 or 222, 222, which is the reference in the film, which is what they say is on the clock face, but it's not. He looks for a little bottle of water when they're changing clothes to look at the time on it, and he's 222. Now, actually, if you actually look at 410, that is the hands would be in a similar area for these two, which is interesting as well. Because the 22, of course, would be 2 minutes after this 4, and 10 would be 2. If you're following what I'm saying, when you look at the clock, if you were to look at the hands backwards, it wouldn't be far off 222. So that's just interesting. I just thought that was interesting. Anyway, it's not exact, but it's kind of close. But anyway, we've got dates from this. We've got the February 2022 right here. Yeah, the second month, the second month, the second month, whichever way you want to look at it. The second month, 2022, or put a 0 in here, 2022. Interesting. We got the 41, the 410, which is also interesting, because if we go back to that table, my table, this is pi along this row here, and the completion of pi, the total for that row, is 410. That's interesting. And if we go to 2001 Space Odyssey event, which is the 254th day of the year right here, and we were to add on 157 days, let's just look at that very, very quickly. I've got that up. We've got September the 11th, blah, 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 and we add on the 157. We're now at the 15th of February. That's interesting as well, isn't it? Because we're just another day on from the 14th. And then if we go one more day on, we're at 216, which is the 666, the 6 cubed number, the 216, which is also super heavily referenced in a lot of things. So that's interesting as well. Yeah, the end of here takes us from this point, this set of, if we go this many days, takes us to what we were thinking would be, or what I was thinking would be, the day after or 2 days after this whole shebang here. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you have to go back and look at the dollar bill references to get to, well, how we get to 213. What was I going to say? The other interesting thing is that set of numbers Yeah, this set of numbers here, we got 2, 4, 1, and 3. All these numbers here are again, you know, they're all in the start of this mini cross here, the little cross, the short T that's right at the start of of the cycle, basically. And of course, once this little first part is complete right here, what have we got next? We've got the right here, we got 4/7, which is again Independence Day. So super interesting stuff. But to have these dates, to have oh, the 13th referenced, February the 13th, and of Valentine's Day as well in that film, and then reference back quite nicely to Back to the Future. I don't know what to say anymore. You know, it's just insane. Well, you want to see something that's even more insane here in a second. I think I've pretty much covered that in the film. The whole idea of independence. I had to go to Independence Hall and all the rest of it, and the whole backstory there. It's really actually quite interesting, you know, the whole idea of the national treasure being independence. Now, I'm going to do this. So I think I've covered all my little shots there. We did the. Oh, I was going to say something about the eye of. Oh, this I'll come on to. Yeah, this is where I was going with this. Okay, we're with. Let's go to the start of this so you can see the start. Ghostbusters 2. This is insane. And in fact, I will show you an actual shot. This will be better. Okay, I can't play this, of course, but maybe we can get it where just about right here, where they're just coming in on the scene. Right, what have we got here? Yes, I'm going to sound like a broken record. This is the dam. This scene, the set that they've got behind them is the dam. Let's look. Here we go. This is the one I want. Now look at this. If you was looking at the other way around, here's the dam curving round like this. Here's the set. Can you see that? Oh no, that's the wrong one. Oh jeez. Hang on a minute. Can you see it? There to there. Come on. I mean, interesting. Anyway, as they come in for this shot, I mean, I know we've got 12 and a 12 here, and it looks like a 2 and a 2 as well, because the 1 for some reason seems to be faded out. And, you know, we've also got, we can start counting things like we've got the mic here coming in, that's a 1, and we've got 3 lights here, and we've got 2 bigger lights here. So we can start counting stuff, and we've got 2 cameras, and we've got 3. Well, actually, we've got a 4th guy up here, actually, just on the edge here. But you know, we can start counting stuff, but that's not the interesting bit, right? So we can get some numbers out of that, and obviously we can get, you know, all the numbers of the dates that we want right there. But I just got the closed captioning on. So what they're going to do is he's talking to him about these are supposed psychics, right? And they're predicting dates for the end of the world, right? So here's just funny. It just look at the length of this 323 and 31. I'm just interested in just on YouTube how the numbers come up. But on the stroke of midnight on New Year's Eve, okay. So the stroke of midnight gives us a the 1-to-1 reference again. Yeah, you're going from 12 to 1, and you're going from the 12th month to the 1st month, and you're also going from the 12th month to the 13th month in the old calendar, which again is interesting because you know, we're going 12-13. That's the same set of numbers that pops up in with David Bowie in Labyrinth on that clock in the, oh, I don't know what that ball is that they do in, you know, it's kind of, I don't know what you'd even call it. It's like the Eyes Wide Shut ball, I don't know, that they have in in Labyrinth, and they have a similar eyes wide shut ball in what's that in? I'm trying to think. Oh, David Bowie's Dollar Days, I believe, has that in a video as well at some point. So just gets. I mean, I'm just trying to think if it is that. It's either that or something again to do with. I don't know if that is Dollar Days or not. I think it is. Anyway, I'm waffling again. But you see the connections back. But anyway, this guy's predicting, and this actually happens in the film. This guy, if you remember the first one, Venkman is kind of like, he really doesn't believe it. But in the actual film, we actually see that this guy actually gets it kind of right, because that's when the end of the world's was about to happen if the Ghostbusters didn't step in. That's interesting. Well, there's another character in here, Elaine, and somewhere here we can get her numbers. You won't believe this. Oh, there it is. Year 2016. So we've got the 216 reference again. That's interesting, and it's Valentine's Day. She predicts Valentine's Day 2016. Well, of course, 2016 is long gone, but interesting with the 216, the number of man again, and Valentine's Day right here. Super interesting. So we have that reference in Ghostbusters 2, and there's several other little references in there which I'll have to do a video on sometime, but I thought I'd throw this in with this video, just because, I actually mentioned it the last video I did, and I said I'd put it in a video, but anyway. Oh, right at the end of this, here's Hairless Pets. This is his next show, right? And look at this as well. If I can get it up on the closed caption. Okay, give me. This is Ira. He asked for Ira. This is the name of the cat, the hairless cat. The hairless cat. The Sphinx, yeah. Hairless cat. Ira. The Eye of Ra. The Eye of Ra. And then that was what I was going to link back to this. No, not this. There's the Eye of Ra. Where else is the Eye of Ra? The Eye of Ra. Yeah. So, I mean, that was a great little. This was a great little bit in this film. Who the hell knows? But very, very interesting. Very interesting indeed. I don't know. I think that's where this is the end of the video. I really do. There's nothing really more to say. We've done the link with Benjamin Franklin. Cage's name happens to be Benjamin Franklin in the thing. The $100 bill. The time on the clock in the film is 222. It's not really 222. That reference is 322. Good old Skull and Bones. And then we're at. It's just interesting the way this was all kind of fitting together. And I guess that's where I leave it. We got the clock tower again. The reference to the clock tower. And the two big clock towers. If I could just click on the right things, these two clock towers here at the Hoover Dam. So I don't know anymore. I think that's the end of the video, because I'm just going to go around in circles, re-emphasizing it all. Super interesting. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed, and I guess we'll see what pops up here in the next couple of weeks. And that's all I got to say, really. Alright, cheers. Bye.